Hello everyone, I am Durga Saujanya from Department of ECE, MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. I am going to give the video sessions for the subject Embedded System Design. Our today's topic for video session is real-time kernel. In this real-time kernel, we are already discussed two parts in previous sessions. Now we are going to the third part. So it comes under Unit 4, Types of Operating Systems topic. So summary of previous session. In previous session, we have discussed what is real-time kernel, what is meant by real-time kernel, and what are the functions of real-time kernel. In functions of real-time kernel, we have discussed the memory management, task management or process management, and interrupt handling, and errors or exceptions, time management. So in previous session we have discussed all these operations, all these functions which are operated by the real-time kernel. Now in today's session we are going to discuss about kernel space and user space. So different types of kernels which are monolithic kernel, microkernel, and different types of real-time systems. Let us go to today's topic now. So the first one is kernel space and user space. Here we know that whatever the program code corresponding to the kernel applications or services are kept under the OS dependent contiguous area, so which is called as kernel space. So the memory space which is allocated for kernel applications is known as kernel space. Here, this is the kernel space. In this, we are all having the system call interface which is used for using the hardware and applications into the kernel area. So the memory space which is used for kernel code is called as kernel space, and all the user applications are loaded into a specific area of primary memory which is known as user space. So that is all the software programs which are related to the system applications are comes under kernel space, and all the user applications, the programs related to user applications are comes under user space. So here how much memory is used for kernel space and how much memory is used for user space will purely dependent on the operating system we have used. There are different types of operating systems are there on each version. So the memory which is allocated for kernel space and user space will purely dependent on the OS. An operating system which with virtual memory support loads the user applications into its corresponding virtual memory space with demand phasing technique. Here the demand phasing technique is used for allocating the virtual memory to the virtual operations which are done by that particular OS. Some OSs support virtual memory concept and some OSs are not supporting the virtual memory concept. So in real-time OSs also only some OSs are supporting the virtual memory concept. In that case, that virtual memory will be allocated to that OS using the demand phasing technique. So here whatever the kernel space allocated for that, first we need to store our programs in the secondary memory, and from that secondary memory to the kernel. So here most of the operating systems keep the kernel applications code in main memory and is not swapped into the secondary memory. Here whatever the kernel code, whatever the software code which is used for kernel space, so whatever the memory allocated for main memory, what are the applications allocated for main memory, these are not swapped into the secondary memory, and what are the applications allocated for secondary memory are not swapped to the main memory. So this is about kernel space and user space. Next one is, there are two types of kernels are there. One is monolithic kernel, another one is microkernel. First, monolithic kernel. Monolithic kernel means the same memory space is used for user services and kernel services. In the previous slide, we have seen the user space and kernel space. Here, if we allocated the same memory space for both user applications and kernel applications, then it is called as monolithic kernel. Here, there is no different memory used for user services and kernel services. So here, it uses the same memory space. Therefore, if the size of the kernel increases, the overall size of the OS will increases. That is, if the size of the kernel increases, overall the memory used for entire operating system will also increases. The execution of processes is also faster than other kernel types, as it does not use the separate user and kernel space. Here, as we have used the same memory for both kernel applications and user applications, so the process will be very faster. Since from the same memory, we can take the kernel applications and user applications, so that the execution process will be faster. So the examples of monolithic kernel are Unix, Linux, OpenVMS, XTS 400. Next one is here. Now what are the advantages and disadvantages of monolithic kernel? So the execution kernel process is faster because there is no separate space is used for user space and kernel space, and hence less software is to be involved. As it is a single piece of software, both sources are compiled forms are smaller. Here we are using a single piece of software program for using as user space and kernel space. So therefore both sources are compiled in the same memory. So therefore the requirement for memory for both sources are smaller. So if any service generates any error, it may crash down the whole system because the two applications uses the same memory and same space. If any error occurred in one space, the whole memory will be crashed down. So these are not portable. So for new architecture, we must rewritten the software. So these are, we need to use large in size, so difficult to manage. So to add a new service, the complete operating system need to be modified. These are the disadvantages of monolithic kernel. Next one is microkernel. So in microkernel, we have used the separate spaces for user space and kernel space. That means separate memories are allocated for user space and separate memory is allocated for kernel space. In this, user services and kernel services are implemented in two different address spaces. One is user space, another one is kernel space. As it is used different spaces, the size of microkernel is decreased, and which reduces the size of OS. Because in this microkernel, two different memories are used. So in the same microkernel, two separate spaces are provided. So we are not extending the space of the microkernel. So therefore, the size will be reduced. The OS size is also reduced. The microkernels are easier to manage and maintain as compared with monolithic kernel. Because two separate spaces are used, the maintenance is also easy and managing is also easy. If there will be a great number of system calls and context switching, it might reduce the performance of the system by making it slow. So if there are more number of system calls are there, more number of memories will be used. Therefore, the execution process will take more time. So the performance will going to be slow down. These kernels uses a message passing system for handling the request from one server to another server. Because there are different spaces are used for different applications, we need to get the request from each application. First, the OS will get the request from each application, and depending on that application will be processed. So the examples of this microkernel are L4, Amiga OS, Minix OS and K42. These are the advantages of microkernel. So these are easy to manage, and when any new service can be added without modifying the whole OS, it can be easy. And if the kernel process crashes, it is crashed for that particular application only. So the whole system will not be crashed. And the disadvantages are here more requirement of software for interfacing, which reduces the system performance. If more number of applications are there, more number of interfaces are required for implementing that OS to the separate memory. Therefore, the performance will be reduced. Process management is also very complicated, and the messaging bugs are also difficult to fix. So if more number of bugs are there in each application, then it is very time taking process for fixing that bugs. So it is very difficult to fix the bugs. Next, different types of real-time systems. There are two types of real-time systems are there. One is hard real-time system, another one is soft real-time system. Hard real-time system means which strictly adheres to the time constraints for a task. So whatever the time assigned for a particular task, it should be completed within that particular time only. Here it is the deadline. So whatever the deadline given for that particular task, the process will be completed or the task will be completed within that time only. So it is strictly adheres to the time constraints. So it must meet the deadlines for a task without any slippage. So missing any deadline may produce a catastrophic results which may be the permanent data loss or irrecoverable damages to the systems or users. So that means missing any deadline will cause damage to the users or to the systems, or it may cause the permanent data loss. Airbag control system is an example, and anti-lock brake system of vehicles are examples for hard real-time system. Here if the brake is not applied at the correct time, so the accidents may occur in the road or rail. So therefore here this anti-lock brake system is an best example for hard real-time system. The brake should be applied at that precise time only. Most of the hard real-time systems are automatic and does not contain human in the loop, because they should perfectly perform the task within the deadline. So those are mostly automatic and does not involve human in the loop. And next one is soft real-time systems. Soft real-time systems does not guarantee that meeting the deadlines, but offer the best effort to meet the deadline. So those are try to meet the deadlines at the best by putting the best effort, but it is not guaranteed that meeting the deadlines. So the performance will be good in these systems, but they are not able to meet the deadline. And here acceptable range of quality of range will be the execution time. Here those are not meeting the deadlines, but they will execute or they will complete the task within the range of quality of service. So that's why here as the deadline missed also, the performance will not be degraded. So missing the deadlines for tasks are acceptable if the frequency of deadline missing is within the compliance limit of quality of service. So even though the deadline is missed, it does not affect the quality of service or the performance, then it is the acceptable missing deadline. Soft real-time systems are most often have the human in the loop. So that's why we are having the missing in the deadlines. Automatic teller machine ATM is a typical example of soft real-time system. If ATM will not be completed within the given time also, we will not get any error or any damages to the humans or systems, even though it will take more seconds late. So it will give the performance, that means it will give the money to us. So the performance will be good even though it missed the deadline. So automatic teller machine is the best example for soft real-time systems. If the ATM takes few seconds more than the ideal operation time, so nothing fatal will happen, so nothing damage to the system will happen. So that's why even though missing the deadlines also, if the performance is good, then it is acceptable in the soft real-time systems. So here in this session we have discussed the previous session summary and what is the kernel space and what is the user space. Kernel space is nothing but the memory allocated for system applications, and user space is nothing but the memory allocated for the user applications. And what is monolithic kernel? Monolithic kernel is nothing but the same space is used, the same memory will be used for both kernel space and user space. Microkernel. If we have used the separate memories for both kernel space and user space, then it is microkernel. Hard real-time systems. In hard real-time systems, these are the time critical or time constrained systems. In this, the meeting deadline will be time constrained. Here, missing the deadline is also acceptable. So these are the topics discussed in the present session. So we will discuss the next topics in the next session. Thank you.